Good morning. Just wrapped up walking Prince. Pet sitting again tonight, so it's been pretty all right. Getting warm today. That is, it's kind of early, and that sun is already beaten down. Speaking of getting warmer, I found out O.J. Simpson passed away this morning from cancer. Hope you dressed for a warmer climate, buddy. That's terrible to say. I don't know. May you be an example of either God's mercy or justice. I think you're going to find this next trial will be much faster, and the judge will not allow as much lunacy as Judge Ito. Speaking of OJ, I do have two kind of funny OJ stories. One of my clients is a cop, and we were playing poker, and he had his cop buddies over, and I asked, what was your opinion on OJ? And they all kind of, boy, let me tell you. And one of the cops had said, the sad thing about OJ, I wish he didn't do it. I wish he just would have divorced his wife and moved on, because he was a nice guy. And OJ was always available anytime the cops were having like a charity auction or something. He would sign stuff, and he was always there to kind of for the community. And they just said, wish he didn't do that. Another one was, I think he was a retired LA County Sheriff deputy, and he goes, oh yeah, the infamous Bronco chase. I remember where I was. And all the other cops kind of chuckled, and I go, oh really, where were you? Oh, I was in car such and such. I was the second car behind the Bronco. Oh, the funny people you meet in this job and just going through life. All right, let's get this day going. Come on, I'm gonna go walk Oliver and Riley, and 65 right now. Let's see how many dogs I can get done before it hits 80. Let's go. It's interesting the amount of people have been mentioning to me OJ's passing, and this being LA, so many people seem to have a story. Just taking care of Maeve, that's the old lady with the pugs, and she has an interesting life story. Her and her family, they moved over from England to LA in the 80s, I think it was, maybe early 90s. And both her and her husband ended up working for a movie producer. I don't know if it was movies or TV, man named that she always calls Mr. Weintraut. I could look it up, I'm sure. I don't know the guy's first name. He's long since passed away. Of course, I do love how Carol also implies, I think Mr. Weintraut was a gangster. Interesting. But her and her husband had driven Mr. Weintraut to some function, and she couldn't remember what it was. She thought it might have been at a church, because they were sitting in a pew, and who ends up sitting next to her husband Jack but O.J. Simpson? And it was 2 days before the murders occurred. And it was interesting because when all that went down, her husband said, I shook his hand. He was a nice fella. There you go. Oh, all right. Just finished wrapping up walking Aria and Sansa, and it got hot today, man. Driving over here, I had practically had 90 on my, according to my car. In fact, I'm almost out of water again. I even bring an extra thing around with me, and that's empty. So I've drained this thing twice. Probably shouldn't be drinking coffee, but I also drank that too. Nothing like a hot caffeinated beverage on a hot day, right? Oh, I gotta get Gatsby a little bit later, pet sitting, and Crazy Charlie. I'm gonna take a little break. I gotta go in, cool down. I'm gonna work out a little bit. Oh, I got Crazy Gatsby. Gonna go walk him with Crazy Charlie. I've never had the two meet, so... Huh, will this be like when matter and antimatter meet? It should be fun. Let's go. I am feeling good. I appreciate you guys tagging along, watching. Oh, as always, I'll see you on the next one. All right, I've got an epilogue for today's video, kind of a bonus track. Oh, on my way to pet sitting, and I had the radio on. It was Tim Conway Jr., who is the son of famous Tim Conway from Carol Burnett's show and Dwarf on Golf and all kinds of funny stuff. Of course, they were talking about OJ. It's been all over. And being the fact that we're in Los Angeles, yeah, there's kind of a special connection. Just driving down the 405, I think about the police chase sometimes. And I've been over in Bundy. I've gone by what used to be Nicole's house. They have a big landscape fence in front of it, but you can kind of look underneath and you can still see the terracotta tile walkway. Kind of grim. But Tim Conway Jr., they even had Dean Sharp on, who was their house whisperer guy. This guy builds homes, and even he had an OJ story, because he said 30 years ago in that neighborhood he was building a house right over on Rockingham, which is just down from Bundy. And he said he would see OJ walking in the morning, walking the Akita, and more than once OJ like, hey, what have you done with the house? And he let him come in and gave him a tour of the house he was building. Everybody had a story, and what Tim Conway Jr. had said, you know, whatever you thought of it one way or another, if you were alive, you were aware of it. You probably watched, you remember where you were during the chase or during the trial. And it is kind of the end of an era. Ultimately, though, I do feel sorry for the children. I feel sorry for the families. Even with, regardless whatever you thought, even with his passing, it doesn't change anything. Everyone's still dead. Everyone still has a strong opinion one way or another.
That the defendant Orthal James Simpson
I do feel bad for the families.
Crime of murder of the first degree and one or more crimes of murder of the first or second degree to be not true. Signed this second day of October 1995, Juror 230. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, is this your verdict? So say you one, so say you all.
All right, counsel, Mr. Simpson, would you be seated, please? Let's have it quiet in the courtroom, please. All right, Mrs. Robertson, would you please poll the jurors?
Poll the jury. Juror number 1, as to count 1, is this your verdict? Juror number 2, as to count 1, is this your verdict? Juror number 3, as to count 1, is this your verdict? Juror number 4, as to count 1, is this your verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 5, as to count 1, is this your verdict? Yes. Juror number 6, as to count 1, is this your verdict? Yes. Juror number 7, as to count 1, is this your verdict? Yes. Juror number 8, as to count 1, is this your verdict? Yes. Juror number 9, as to count 1, is this your verdict? Yes. Juror number 10, as to count 1, is this your verdict? Yes. Juror number 11, as to count 1, is this your verdict? Juror number 12, as to count 1, is this your verdict?